very interesting news. Apparently, Google is giving up on wokeness. Not as selling it to the public. No, I think they still like that. They're giving away wokeness as a corporate culture thing. And I believe there may be two reasons for it. The first one is that they're developing AI. And as we got to see, you need to be a little bit unethical when developing the AI because that's what the market wants. If you make Gemini the way they did and you make it hyper woke, not a lot of people like it. And what I found interesting about Gemini is that leftists didn't like it either. And one of the main reasons why I think was the preachiness. It wasn't just the fact that, oh, you can't have white people in history and it Netflixized every single picture you asked it to make. No, it was the moralizing, right? Like, for instance, if you were to troll it and get it to say, like, something positive about Hitler, right? Because you're doing the test, you're like, okay, well, what is it going to say if you do that? It will say, I'm sorry I cannot comply to the request, but do you know that Hitler was a very, very bad man? It is important that we show love and affection to each other and we discard hatred, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is not a useful tool. Like, I do not want to spend my time using a product that lectures me, even if it's correct, even if it's not. Like, if I have a hammer, I don't want to lecture me about how I build a house, right? It's supposed to be a tool. Like it's fine if it says, I can't comply with this request because of safety reasons, and like, that's fine. But when it actually starts going, well, actually, it's important that we blah, 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 like, shut the fuck up, right? So, basically, I'm trying to say that this was the first interesting thing. Like, if you want to develop AI, you gotta be unethical, and, you know, Google cannot afford to have employees that will do walkouts, that will start moralizing on the direction of the company, so on and so forth. So that's one of the reasons why they're dropping the woke corporate culture. But the second reason is the Palestine thing, right? Up until now, they seem to have a culture that was pretty fine with bringing politics, especially as long as you're dabbing on men, especially like straight white men. And they had like all these seminars where they would get people and they would tell people that the reason we don't get more women in tech is because men are ostracizing, men are behaving inappropriately. And then you have like this guy, James Damore, an engineer, which apparently was like quite at the top of his game. Like he wasn't just a nobody, he was very skilled at what he did. And he says, well, you know, instead of like blaming men for the fact that there aren't more women in STEM, maybe women just don't want to join STEM. Like, it's not for everyone, you know? Like I, for instance, didn't find any interest in STEM. It's fine. And he got fired for it, right? Like, immediately what he said was leaked, and it's like, oh, well, you're against the corporate culture. So, like, they were very political when it didn't affect their bottom line. But now that you have people doing walkouts and protesting about Israel, all of a sudden, well, no politics here. You know, here at the office, we do not share politics. And I assume they will start sharing it again after the whole Palestinian thing. But, yeah, I think, like, the Palestinian conflict, man, like, it's causing a lot of anti-Semitism from the left. We're actually going to be discussing The Girl with Matches, I like to call it. It's a very sad story by Anderson, I think, The Girl with Matches. It's causing a lot of division on the left, and it also sparks a lot of anti-Semitism. So a lot of companies are like, oh shit, okay, well, you know what? We actually decided that from this day forward, no more politics. So let's talk about The Girl with Matches. Now, if you don't know the story of The Girl with Matches, it's actually one that's incredibly sad. I cried when I was a kid reading it. I remember that. It's about a very cold winter. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. And there's this orphan girl. And she doesn't have anyone. She doesn't have any family. I believe it's even Christmas. And all she's got are 3 matches, right? So, like, she's shivering from the cold. And she basically goes next to windows of stores and houses and lights one match in order to keep herself warm. And as the match burns, like she gets to feel a little bit of happiness, and she watches how other people are celebrating Christmas, how they're gathering around the dinner table. And the final match, she actually sees her mother, which passed away. And, you know, despite the fact that it's winter and it's cold, as the match burns, like, she feels the embrace of the mother, so now she feels the warmth. And basically it's implied that she died, right? Like, she died from the cold. This is the story of the girl with matches. And the moral of the story is that we should look after people that are poor. We should look after people that are impoverished. We should look after the orphans, because they're human beings too, and they have it very rough. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because the modern girl with matches seems to be Ilhan Omar's daughter, right? So Ilhan Omar's daughter is now, according to the media, homeless and hungry after being suspended from schools from her anti-Israeli protests. It's like, like this is how it's being portrayed, and I'm like, well, isn't she the daughter of this very wealthy American congresswoman? Really, she is that impoverished. She's the girl with matches that gets to appear on television in order to jerk a tear from our eye with a very touching and moving story about censorship on campus, which existed for the last 6 years now. Like, for the last 6 years, Republicans kept saying that there's censorship on campus, and no one gave a fuck, right? No, this is a safe space for everyone, blah, blah, blah. It's about building a home here. And now that the pro-Hamas protesters are getting banned from the college, now it's an issue. Now it's a problem. Yeah, she should buy more matches, Chad. My God, I just reminded myself of the story with the girl with matches, and there's so much emotion in that little fairy tale. They would never manage to make a story like that today. Like, the writers are just incapable. They would not manage to spark so much emotion out of it. And I think they would also shoehorn identity politics into it if they could. Like, the little girl with matches would probably... I noticed that this is how the writers know how to create emotions. It's by... saying, well, the girl is actually a minority, right? Because now we don't use an orphan, right? Because, like, when you say that this person is an orphan, then it doesn't matter about their skin color, sexual identity, or anything like that. It's like, well, obviously it's from an impoverished background, right? Like, it's an orphan, it's not their fault, etc., etc. But nowadays, it would be, no, like, the girl with matches would probably be from a... actually well-off family, but I think she would be a transgender woman of color. Maybe in a wheelchair, I don't know, like, that's optional. But that's what the writers know how to create emotion. Like, they do not actually create relatable characters or characters that you can think about. It's like, okay, well, we threw in the identity, so the politics are there, and therefore. Should be in a wheelchair and have vitiligo, probably. Hello, Ioana, welcome to the show. They lack the life experience to make anything beautiful. You know, that's an interesting thing. I don't believe they lack the life experience, because you don't need life experience in order to write something. For instance, the person that wrote Winnetou, I think it was a British person, never went to the Wild West, never saw an American Indian in his life, but he read other books. And that's the problem. Like, most of these people do not read other books because other books are not politically correct. Little black trans girl with matches was kicked out from her adopted white family when she became out trans. She uses the last match to burn down their house. That's the revealed story. Oh my God. Hello, Mr. J. Alright. Let's talk about office chairs, okay? Like, this actually, unironically, gave me anxiety. Like, when I was sitting on my chair, I felt, well, even now I feel uncomfortable. Like, this is a modern horror story. You know, like when you go to camp and it's dark and people start telling scary stories around the fire. It's kind of like that. And I think the reason that this one works so well is because it can actually happen. Like, this is not an urban myth, okay? Like, the chairs can actually explode. And they have. So when a chair explodes, it looks like this. There's a video from Brew on YouTube. It's got 4.4 million views. He actually describes what happens. And there are like several stories from China where it took place. And one of them, you have the sister of a guy. She sits on the chair in order to make her hair, and then there's an explosion. And this explosion was so loud that people from the entire block and even blocks nearby could actually hear it. So, anyway, like, the girl has a torn anus now, and she's got wounds on her genitals, and they take her to the hospital. They managed to save her life. It took like 6 months of recovery. Her entire anus was destroyed. And not only that, like, she had shrapnel inside her and all the other stuff, right? But like, this lady actually escaped. However, there are cases where you have, as the title mentioned, a 14-year-old boy also sat down on an office chair. Chair exploded. He calls the hospital, and by the time they arrive, he's still conscientious, but he dies on the operating table. This one actually had like that metal rod from the chair impaled into him, so this actually added to the injury being worse. And then there's another case where an elderly man, also from China, sat on a chair and the chair exploded. So the question is, like, why did the chair explode, right? Well, they have like this pump in them that has air, so it's like a compressurized thing. And apparently, if this thing gets damaged, it can actually explode, and it can shoot upwards this this metal rod that you got into the chair. It shoots upwards, and it penetrates through the sitting position, going all the way up in your ass. So it's an incredibly painful, excruciating thing. Apparently, there was a show that's like Mythbusters, and they tried it in China. They wanted to see if it's true, like if it's a myth or not. And what they did was they dropped sandbags onto 3 chairs. We're going to go into a little bit what type of chairs they were. But as you can see here, first chair was fine, but the third one actually exploded, right? So why did the chairs explode? Well, it's about the manufacturing and how old the chairs are. So basically, it's incredibly unlikely for a chair to explode. Like, especially here in the West, because there's a lot of safety mechanisms and safety procedures that they're making. Although, never say never, right? Like, any chair, especially if it's used improperly, like if it has more weight supporting it than it should, can actually explode. The reason that this one actually combusted is that here in Europe and in America, we do not use oxygen as a gas for that pump. We use other types of gases that aren't as flammable. But this one had oxygen, so this is why it actually blew up. But as you can see, like the chairs that are a little bit more expensive, they're less likely to blow up. Never say never, though. Apparently, like 1 in a trillion do explode. It's incredibly painful. It's one of those things that you can actually be unlucky enough. So it actually did give me anxiety. That pressure mechanism is quite literally a quasi pipe bomb. Jesus Christ. Well, I'm glad that I know what I'm sitting in. How did it ignite? Again, like when the thing exploded, because it had oxygen as a gas, it actually combusted. So extreme office sports. Yeah, it's cheaper to use nitrogen. Why didn't they use that? I don't know about cheapness. Like, maybe they had oxygen at hand and they didn't have access to nitrogen. Like, maybe they were trying to build the chairs on the down low, so they didn't want... I've no clue. I don't know why. I missed it. Play it again. Like, what did you miss? Like, chairs exploding? I mean, all I gotta see is this image. And I can realize just how painful it must have been. Hold up. Where's the chair? At this one. I think it has like an image with the metal rod coming out of the chair. and that is the one that here we go. Right. Like this is the only thing that I need to see in order to realize just how painful the experience must have been. And it can happen, chat. It can happen. You know, like this is like one of those things that you as I mentioned before, you talk about it on when you go in camping with friends, and like someone takes the flashlight and puts it on their face, and they're talking about Bloody Mary or whatever. Except this one can actually happen. Like this one, possibility, unlikely, but not impossible. Yeah, poor girl, exactly. You know, she did survive, but there are certain things that I genuinely don't understand. Like, I get the human impulse of it, but like, one of the things that I don't understand is when someone sets themselves on fire, right? So, like, they pour gasoline on top of them, and we had this happening in the news. The thing that I don't understand is the people that put them out of the fire. Like, how sadistic must you be? Like, number one, if you put someone out, there's two things that can happen. Number one, they're going to take like a couple more hours of the most agony that a human being can possibly experience before they die. Like, dying because of fire is one of the worst ways to go. So they're going to be in severe agony for a couple more hours at the hospital, which is pretty much what happened to the first guy, the one that was with Free Palestine. Number two, there are people who did survive, but like, usually their eyes are completely burned out. They look incredibly off-putting, let's put it like this. Some of them don't even have one hand or fingers because like they require amputations in order to, you know, make sure that the necrosis doesn't spread. So it's just like one of those things. Like I don't like, I understand the human sentiment of wanting to save someone, but I don't think you can save them at that point. Like if it's a person in a burning building, that's one thing, right? But like if someone actually just poured gasoline on top of that, I no, I don't see that. Like again, as a person who worked in the hospital, I don't see that having a happy ending. Obviously, you know, I'm not telling people what to do or what not to do, but I'm just looking at the cases and what happened. And if I was in that situation, I was just like, dude, just no. If they light themselves on fire and you put them out, can they sue you for damages? I mean, you can sue a person for anything, right? Like, suing someone is an option that's always available, and you can sue a bologna sandwich. The question is if you're going to win. I don't know. I legit do not know. I think that it depends in the place. Like in the States, I think you could win, though. I've no clue. I genuinely don't know. Yeah, like if you get put out by someone, especially if they're not like part of the firefighters or anything like that, and then you end up in a situation where you're in horrible pain, you're blinded, and you're like, oh, you know, I wish he wouldn't have saved me. I think you can sue them, yeah. Men were getting sued for saving women's lives. There's always the asshole, right? Like, there's always the person that's like, oh, well, I can make some money off of it, so why not? American Outlier, thank you for the $5. Hi, V, I hope your day is good. The hydraulic pressure buildup in the chair. Also, doesn't the fire wreck the nervous system so that they can't feel pain? No, they can definitely feel pain. I do not exactly understand the mechanism. I think it's like a type of ghost pain, pretty much. Like even though the nerve is fried, like the fire has destroyed the nerve, it still makes you feel all of that pain. So yeah, like you are going to be having a very unpleasant experience for a couple of days, perhaps. And if you survive that, then you need to survive the hospital bill as well. When I was training to become an armed security guard, my instructor told us about a dude that rescued a pregnant woman from a bus that was in a car crash. She actually sued him for losing the baby. Yeah, I mean, again, like, some people are assholes, and they will blame anyone that they can. And especially if they can make some money off of it, they will try to. But, like, what can you do? You know, like, it is what it is. Like, some people are just that way. And there's no changing. I mean, holy shit, there was actually a woman in New York. Like, this was recent. Like, this actually bewildered me, right? So, like, you got this woman, and she's about to be mugged. And the Good Samaritan pulls a gun and tells the mugger to leave her alone. But the mugger charges the guy with the gun, and it was his last mistake. But then the woman accuses the guy with the gun and says, well, you know, he should have just allowed for the mugging to happen. And I'm like, wow, what a nice moral thing to do. You know, what a nice moral thing to say. Yeah, like, sure. Everyone needs to experience the trauma of the subway, right? Because no one should actually intervene and fix the problem. Again, it's like people go like, oh, well, the mugger shouldn't have been shot for stealing. He wasn't shot for stealing. He was shot for charging at a guy with a gun. Now, if you are a criminal that has the audacity to charge at someone with a gun, I think you have the audacity to do far worse things. Remember that one lady who sued the guy that saved her from drowning? That was actually a poll. I looked it up. It was satire. It was by an MRA thing where, yeah, like at the peak of feminism, there was this news that was going around, and the reason that people believed it is because it was at the peak of feminism. But it said that a woman was saved from drowning, and she sued the guy for giving her mouth to mouth. Every goddamn day I push towards opinions I would never hold without examples such as this. No, my favorite thing is when people are siding with criminals and they usually try to justify the crime and they believe that the criminal will be decent enough to just stop at that. You know, so like for instance, they will justify stuff like, oh, it's okay if these people are robbing businesses because they would never rob homes. And I'm like, well, how the fuck do you know? I think if someone has it in them to rob a business, I think the criminal mind is there and the potentials are limitless, which is why they need to be stopped and punished. Apparently this just in, a woman was fatally stabbed today in San Francisco. Didn't they deploy like the National Guard in the subway? Like, Jesus. How can the National Guard not manage to fix the subway problem? It's insane. Police gave the following description of the suspect: a male who was carrying 2 bags. Well, I guess like being politically correct about a stabbing suspect while he's still at large is the most important thing to do, right? A male who was carrying 2 bags. What do you even do with that fucking information? Like, how long is he going to carry the bags? Like, if he drops the bags, all of a sudden, you're completely bewildered. It's like, well, we can't find him anymore. It's like in GTA, you know, where you gotta paint your car in order to escape the police chasing you? Well, here you don't even have to do that. You gotta drop the bags. Dude, like, the news that I'm reading from San Francisco, it's like an alternative universe, I swear. This one, like, oh, look at this. Tell me if this is real or sarcasm, okay? Convenience store chain, hundreds of outlets in 6 states, is receiving a discrimination lawsuit from the Biden administration. The federal officials said that they do not allege that the Sheetz brand was motivated by racial animus, but they take issue with the way that the chain uses criminal background in order to screen job seekers. So basically, this is my favorite take, right? All of a sudden, the private company can't do whatever it wants. So what the Biden administration is saying, it's like, look, you can't use criminal background checks in order to screen for employees, because that's racist. And well, Biden, are you suggesting Are you suggesting that like if you screen for background checks, like immigrants are most affected? Like what are we? You think it's fake? Oh, you think it's fake? Oh, you poor summer child. NBC News, motherfucker. NBC News, and it was on MSLSD as well. Like even the media is shocked at this. I gotta say, like it's very rare that you see the Alphabet Soup networks being shocked at something that the Democrats are doing. But if you read between the lines, you notice that even their own reporters are a little bit bewildered by this, because they probably have to live in Scat Francisco, and they're like, oh shit. And it's like federal officials say that they do not allege that this is motivated by racial animus, but they think it's racist. So again, through the magic of Democrats, you can now be racist without having racial animus. This genuinely bewildered me. Like, how can you be racist without the racial animus? Well, you know, the definitions keep changing. She should have defended herself with a chair. Well, I would not be surprised. Gabriel Narta is talking about the Romanian expression, the person that steals an egg today, tomorrow will steal an ox. This is the broken window theory. The broken window theory is one that leftists hate the most, but it's one that's entirely accurate. And it also makes sense, right? So the broken window theory is like this, right? Like, have you guys ever gone through a neighborhood that's not in good shape, right? Like either the people that live there have moved and no one has lived in that house for a while, or maybe it's like an industrial place and you get to see these broken windows. Now the question is, like, why is it that in some neighborhoods you see broken windows but in other ones you don't? Is it that there's a place where broken window connoisseurs, like people who like to break windows, gather, right? Is it like the neighborhood? No. The reasoning for it is that breaking windows is fun. Like, many people enjoy it. It's, you know, like throwing a rock out a window and watching it break. It's a fun activity. Now, the question is, are there consequences for it, right? So, like, if one person picks up a rock and throws it out a window and breaks it and then walks away, other people will notice, oh, the window is broken. So they will break another and another. And when you reach the point where you have like 3 or 4 broken windows and there's no consequences, more people will start doing it. Meanwhile, if you're in a neighborhood and the moment someone breaks a window, immediately someone apprehends him and is like, hey, the fuck are you doing, you cheeky little shit? Right? And they call the cops and they apply a correction on the spot. And people are going to stop breaking windows. Now, this is not about windows, obviously. It's about crime, right? So, like, if you have a neighborhood where petty crime doesn't get the tolerance, so, like, if you litter on the street, if you go on the bus without a ticket, if you do, like, all these activities, and when you do them, you get punished, people are less likely to do bigger crimes. Because that's the thing, like, most people don't start with big crimes. Most people start slow, you know, they start littering, and maybe then they get on the bus without a ticket, and then they pickpocket, and then, you know, like, it escalates. So the broken window theory says that if it's not allowed to escalate, if you nip crime in the butt the first time it appears, then you're not going to get this level of broken windows. So that is what the Romanian expression is saying. It's basically like, do not tolerate criminality because it can expand and eventually you get that. V, it sounds like Romania need to be enlightened by the Democrats. We can give you all of ours. Jesus Christ, no. I'm actually curious, like, how Democrats would be able to govern a country like Romania, because, like, not only we're all white, but no one wants to come here. Like, even if you were to encourage mass immigration, like, who wants to come to Romania? So, like, all the Democrat talking points wouldn't work. They can't push communism because we already have it and we know how bad it is. So I genuinely, like, no, they would be bewildered. They would be absolutely clueless. They would not know what to do. V, Google Map, Uniontown, Alabama. If you want to see economic dilapidation, and my god, it looks like you entered a third world. Is this where you live? Alright, Google Maps. Is this where the Sweet Home Alabama song comes in? How do I we got photos. It's got restaurants, hotels, things to do, but how oh, I think I need to click this. Okay. Right. So I'm in Alabama. Um Ah, where do we go, chat? Looks like a nice rural place. Is this a farm? Why can't I go here? I can't go here. I think it's because it's private property. Look, it looks like Lara Croft's mansion. From the distance, you can see Lara Croft's mansion. This looks like a nice place for a video game, chat. I don't think like I'm in the actual city to be able to... Oh, come on, this is a nice place. I would hate to live in a place like this. Like, it's nice, but imagine at night, like, you got all the cars speeding by. You gotta pray that someone isn't going to crash into your house. Why not build a fence? In my country, no one would live like this. Like, you'd have a massive fence built here, because you don't want a truck to drive into your living room. It can't happen. Like, you don't know. You know, someone tries to overtake someone, or there's a dog that jumps up in front of the street and someone pulls the wheel. Yeah, I don't know if I'm at the right place, American Outline. Oh, I think I saw your car. I think I saw your car, American Outline. Is this one your car? Is this where you parked it? Huh? Is this where you're watching my stream from? Hold on, we get to see houses, chat. We're seeing houses. Looks like a nice place. Man, I would be afraid to live in a place like this. Like, anyone from the street can just stop the car, get into your house, burglarize you, and get out. No fence, no security, no nothing. I mean, I guess this is why they built it next to the church. In order to pray to Jesus that this doesn't happen. Holy shit. We got something here. Like, what is this? It's a Family Dollar. What the fuck is a Family Dollar? Is this good? Is it good, chat? Can we get into the Family Dollar? Oh, commercial. Commercial. Is it biracial? All commercials in America are biracials. Usually the woman is white and the man is black. Every single fucking time. I don't know why though. I just noticed it. If I'm wrong, show me one that isn't. Ah, I was right. How did I know? How did I know? How did I know? Anyway. Nothing wrong with it. It's just, you know, it becomes boring after a while. You want to see something different. Like a McDonald's commercial from Japan, and everyone starts crying when they're looking at it. And it's like, why can't we have that? Because you don't deserve it. Yeah, we got a ranch. Is this a ranch? It's not a ranch. What is this? Looks like a salon. What the fuck is this, chat? I bet it's got dogs on its property. But see, this is like a more of a normal individual. It's got a fence around this shit. I bet there's some dogs inside. If you climb this tower, do you get access to the secondary quests? Does it reveal the area and you get like the all the places of interest you can visit? Go down a side street. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I'm sorry. We expect millions of Democrats at your door tomorrow. Enjoy. We don't deserve the Japan. Try that in a small town. Hold on. Like, let me see if I can actually go the right way now. But the thing is, like, I'm lost, so I will have to restart. I love it. Like, V, you're going the wrong way. I know it's not a radio tower, but does it have to be? I'm lost, Ayo. I do not know where to go now. Hold on. No, I do not use Google Maps very often. I sit in my house. Why would I... Alright, I go into a side street. I'm on a side street. Let's see. Look at these fucking cars, Ayo. Like, how can you tell me these people are poor and they have 3 cars? Jesus. Do they spawn from the bushes? Like, is this what you're trying to imply? That you're on a side street and... Oh my god, like, look at these rich houses. Look at these American wealthy houses and you're like, oh my god, this place is so bad. I want to live here. Hold on, maybe not. I noticed one of the signs that it's not a good place to live. When you see the crooked signpost. The crooked signpost is usually a sign that maybe you shouldn't live here because this one belongs to a private property, right? It says do not enter, so I assume that the people who live here placed it, but they're not trying to maintain it. So this is not a good look. You Americans have some nice houses. Get the fuck out. Like, is this poverty? Is this what Americans look at it and they're thinking, oh wow, this is poor? I mean, maybe it is, but I don't know. It's just, it looks great. Ah, here we go. We found the place. We found the settlement. There's human life. Hey, yo, what the fuck are you? Oh. What is this, chat? This looks like a bug. Looks like a graphical glitch. But, like, next door is cool. Is this what they call income disparity? Like this place is in ruin and this place looks like the house of my dreams? Even got a little cool bench. I don't think this is a bad place to live in. And I'll tell you why. Because the good houses do not have fences. Okay, this one looks abandoned. Ah, the broken window theory, see? This is what we were talking about earlier. I think I went to the right place now. I think this is where AO wanted to take me. I don't fucking understand this. My brain can't compute. So, like, this building looks ruined, as if the people who live here do not have money to renovate. But you have, like, these 2 expensive cars. Sorry, 3 expensive cars. How does it... Like, you got money for the car, but you don't got money to renovate the thing? I don't understand it, Chad. Look, it's even got a library. What is the problem with this place? No, you know what? I will fucking show you stuff from Romania. If you think this is bad, I will show you stuff from my city, and then we can compare. What is this? Huh? Is this a store? No. You can shoot Resident Evil in here, right? It's the Garden of Eden. It is. You see the black man with the white woman because it's a fetish? I think it's a fetish too, yeah. V, you went in the right town. The problem is you didn't go mainstream. I didn't go for the wide audience, is what you're saying? V, in America, if you don't have a car, you literally can't go anywhere. Let me see if I can find something. Fuck, like, most of the poor places in my town have been renovated, so I don't think I can show you something bad. I'm trying to think. Let me see the capital. If they actually made the capital look nice, I'm giving up. Usually in Europe, the capitals are the worst place you can be. Okay, so this is Romania. When I was young, I know that Pantelimon was one of the poorest areas in Romania. Sorry, not in Romania, in the capital building. Capital city. They made it a little bit better, I guess. But as you can see, like the rich people, they have fences. It's to mark their property from other rich people, of course. Yeah, there's a lot of garbage. A lot of trash. See, Romania is like Mordor. Don't come here. Ever. Stay there. Do not make Romania for the wider audience. No. Look at this house. It's a nice hacienda. This is how it looks normally with a compound, right? You got your interphone here. I bet they have their dogs inside to guard it. Yeah. You don't have crooked signs. La Tradiția. A restaurant with Romanian tradition. Why would you have La Tradiția in Romania, though? Like, if you want Romanian tradition, you eat from your mother? Yeah, we don't have the interracial couple. In fact, we don't have people on our billboards. Like, our billboards are straight and to the point. This is Eastern Europe. It's like, you want to buy, this is what you get. Call this number. That's it. That's the commercial. We don't have time for fuckery in Eastern Europe. It's like, okay, commercial. What are we selling? House. Put the house on the commercial. Where can they call? Put the number. Show them the house. That's it. Yeah. Tell them how much it costs. And there you have it. No people hugging. No one. Ain't no one got time for that shit. They're seeing a commercial for a house. They probably know what is it about. No one hugs. It looks fake. No one's happy in Eastern Europe. Everyone is sad. Why would you put people hugging? So, no, unironically, does this look like the play? Which one is better? Is this better or is America better? Like, is what we saw earlier better than this, or do they look the same? Also, V, I am not from Uniontown. My grandfather was when I lived up. There was nothing but catfish ponds and cattle land and not one stoplight. Well, that sounds like magic. Sounds like a nice place. Do trans kids have visibility and rights in Romania? Like, everyone has rights in Romania. I don't know about visibility, though. No celebrity cameos, yeah. No foreplay, hard sell, exactly. Not all Americans are rich. I will put it this way. On average, an American is richer than a European. On average. It wasn't like this 10 years ago, but trust me, if you think Americans are poor, you don't understand how poor Europeans are. Hold on, let me pick my town. Let's see. Yeah, this is what I used to live. Is this the hospital I worked at? Yeah, this is the hospital I worked at. Holy shit, I'm doxing myself. Oh, Dios mío. Not, the bad thing about the place when I grew up, I gotta say, not much diversity. You get to see a lot of kids, but not much diversity. This is the hospital. Now I recognize it, yeah. That was the emergency wing. We got supermarkets and shit. This is Mega Image. I think it's called Image because it's French. You're going to notice almost everything is in English. Don't ask why though. Oh, we got an ad. We got an ad here. It's with beautiful women on the ad. Is this something that I think if you get like 20 Americans here, they'll be like worshipping the ad. They'll be like, whoa, whoa, Sephora. Oh my God, Sephora is one of the leading companies in diversity and enrichment, and they don't want to give any of that to Romania. How horrible they are, huh? And when it comes to advertising in Eastern Europe, this is what they put on the ad. Maybe one day we'll get diversity too, chat. Maybe one day. It just seems that not today. Do you know what this is? This right here, do you know what it is? Americans, it's called public transport. It's called public transport. You don't have that there, do you? I mean, you do, but you risk your life when you take it, don't you? Like if you're in New York and you go with the public transport, you're literally risking your life. But don't worry about it. If anything bad happens, the police is going to make sure that they're going to treat the criminal with dignity and politically correctness. Look at this shit. Look at everything is in English. Meetup. Look. Restaurant. Ferma. Pizza. Everything. All the commercials, every fucking thing is in English. I don't know why. Let's see if I can take you guys to the Palace of Culture. Let's see if we have time to do that. Look, 24 shop. Teo's Cafe. In case you haven't figured out, Romanians love Americans. A lot. Like we believe wisdom comes from America. America makes communism go away. We had communism during the great times, the golden era, we called it. I studied that. This is the university where I got my law degree from. We got wisdom from America, right? During the golden era of communism, we managed to get away from it, and we knew that America opposes it, so America great. Which is why, again, every single thing, every single commercial, every single brand is in English. Look at this, right? Again, this is a commercial. No people on it, no nothing. Women with unrealistic body depictions. But by the way, look at the body type B of people on the street, right? If you see a person that's plump or chubby, let me know, because I don't. It's like everyone looks like this is already kind of like me. This is concerning. You got to work out a little bit if you get like that. You don't want to get more plump. Even the taxis, like we got yellow taxis because like New York has yellow taxis, and if New York has yellow taxis, we actually need to have them too. I'm not even kidding. The mayor used this argument. Like he actually went to New York. And he said, well, I was there and all the taxis were yellow, so now he passed a decree that all the taxis in our town have to be yellow. This pissed off a lot of taxi drivers because apparently painting your car is expensive. So every single taxi driver had to paint his car yellow, much to their horror and dismay. And now that Uber comes along, they don't have to paint their cars. Again, much to the horror and dismay of the taxi drivers. Like, what do you mean? I actually had to paint my car. And these guys that do Uber don't? How is that fair? How does that work? Apparently we got stuck, chat. Apparently I can't go any forward. Oh, I can. Hold on. Meow, meow, meow. Okay, we got more commercials. Let's see. Look at the commercial. Fucking English. Every single one. Remember when you were curious? Ocean B. You can tell it's an English commercial because it has people here. It's got a guy on a laptop. Like, Romanian commercials don't have those. It's just like straight to the point. No fluff. Profi, super, 24/7. Look at this. Familian. Oh, that finally one in Romania. Oh, this is for the Romanian television. There's an ad for the Romanian television. Life stories behind the people we admire. Great. keep going. I'm going to take you to the Palace of Culture. This is the... Hold on, there's a statue here depicting the horrors of communism. Let's see if we can actually see it. It's got chains and shit. Did they remove it? I don't think they removed it. But I don't know if Google will allow us to go visit the statue. Oh yeah, here it is. Right. You can't really see it, but it's got people chained up, and this is this is a statue dedicated to the horrors of communism. I'm not making it up. But you can see, like, the people aren't very happy. They're having chains and shit. Yeah. And of course the EU flag placed next to it. This is the Statue of Liberty. It's got big boobs. Much to the dismay and horror of social justice activists. Unrealistic body type. Can I even reach the Palace of Culture? It's very far from here. Oh, look, a church. And this is probably a very bizarre setting if you're from Britain. In Romania, people actually go into the church. Like, we still have people that visit churches. The American colonialist empire. Here you go. Believe it or not, Subway is actually good. I used to live here when I was a kid. Not anymore. I haven't been here for more than 20 years. This is the University of Medicine. This is also where I studied. The second university that I attended. This is probably Christika sparking out. It's like, stop showing us our country. Tell them that Romania is Mordor. Don't let them come here. What are you doing? Actually, let me read the chat. I haven't read the chat in a while. I should. V about to accidentally show his place on Google. No, I don't live there anymore. I used to live there when I was a kid. How do Romanians get by with less than 150,000 per year? You buy the essentials, and stuff is also cheaper here. Good looking art, not diverse. I'm jealous. Don't worry, I'll only go as a tourist. Yeah, but I can see what's happening in Japan. It's already concerning. What the fuck? Germany has passed a new law that will enable parents to transition their babies straight from the moment they are born. The Self-Determination Act has also established a 10,000 euro fine for exposing a transgender person's biological sex or dead name. Well, that's for tomorrow's video, isn't it? American Outlier is showing me pictures from Alabama. We actually saw that on the Google Maps. Yeah. Oh, you're showing me a business that went out that went out of business. It's not really that scary. It's not desirable, but it's not. Normal German behavior. Well, different countries, they got different ideologies. What can I say? You know, it's why they're German and they're not Americans. Under communism, the unemployment rate was lower. I think we discussed this like 5 or 6 times. But okay, I'll discuss it again. Under communism, it's true that the unemployment rate was lower. In fact, if you were caught not working, they would pick you up from the street and they would throw you in a factory. I told this story several times on my live stream, but I'll say it again. My uncle was an engineer. Like, he actually finished engineering school, and he was working in a factory. Now, there was this Roma individual, let's put it like this, who was singing at weddings, and he was making quite a good quite a good buck from singing at weddings. But the police caught him during working hours on the street, and they took him to the station. They applied the correction, and they asked him, like, how dare you earn in a weekend as much as a decent worker earns in a month? You will not sing at weddings anymore. You will be sent to the factory. So they actually did send him to the factory. And unfortunately, he didn't know what to do anything at the factory, right? But, well, now he was employed at the factory, doing absolutely nothing besides wasting time, because he didn't want to be there. He wasn't productive. Other people didn't want him either. So it is what it is, right? That's communism for you. Now, you did get money for working, but everything was on a ration. So even if you had money, like let's say you were a millionaire, if you didn't have your quote-unquote carbon credits, you couldn't buy shit. So even if you were a millionaire, you couldn't buy more than 1 kilogram of chicken per month. You couldn't buy more than half a kilogram of pork per month. So yeah, everyone was unemployed except you couldn't leave the country. And regardless if you had money or not, you couldn't actually buy the things you wanted. And take into account that, like, we also didn't have stuff like, I don't know, color TV. Like, color TV just didn't exist here. VCR, we didn't have it. Wanted to buy a computer? Tough shit. So, yeah, like, everyone had the job. In other words, everyone was a slave. Because you didn't get paid. I mean, you did get paid, but the money was worthless. I'm surprised that the EU planted their flag next to the communist statue when they're trying to drag you back to it. It's more like, I think that wherever there's a Romanian flag, they have to put the EU flag as well. I noticed this. I don't know if they're required or if just the city council wants to. I've no fucking idea. But like, a lot of people do that. So if it's a statue that's constructed by the city hall, they usually put the Romanian flag next to it. So like, if you put the Romanian flag, you gotta put the EU flag too. This lifestyle is coming to Scotland soon. It's coming to every place where they're going to have carbon credits. Yeah, literally go to the factory rocker. That was the commercial. Yeah, it's kind of like saying, well, you know, under slavery, that there was very low unemployment. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's not desirable. It's easy to get zero unemployment if you make things nobody wants using resources that should be used for other things. You can make unemployment very easily. Like the Nazis, for instance, they took away women from the unemployment quotas. They basically concluded that women should stay at home, so they shouldn't be seeking jobs anyway. So all of a sudden, by removing women from the unemployment, they just reduced the unemployment by half. And then they would have stuff like, okay, well, teenagers need to be having, like, forced military service. And by military service, they would use them in order to build roads, build stuff, you know, like construction and shit like that. So theoretically, now kids were quote-unquote employed, right? So, like, you were 18, you finished high school. Now you're doing, like, your military service, and you're building roads, you're building hospitals and stuff. Like, you're getting paid peanuts. Like, you're getting paid far less than what the market would have paid you. But there you are. So, that, you know, like, you get lower unemployment. Like, that's fine. You know, like, forcing people to work is something that has been done throughout many ages and time periods. Jesus JDA. Yes, it's a lot of buyer's remorse. Thank you very much. You must force behavior, also known as Larry Fig. Oof. Jesus Christ, how sad. The poor children. Well, it's more like, you know, being forced to make a job for nothing. Like you a lot of people say, well, that was a good thing. Yeah, unless you are forced to do it. Like if someone said, yeah, okay, you're working for the government now, build the ditch. And they pay you below minimum wage, I don't think you'd appreciate that. I don't think you'd want to make the ditch. just so that the government saves a buck. And they're using you as cheap labor. But it is what it is. Anyway, I think this is it for today. I apologize for uploading the same video twice on my lack of entertainment channel. I should be a little bit more careful from now on. But other than that, hopefully you guys will enjoy the rest of the videos, and I'm going to work on my game now. So